Hey, English 12. So this is your weekly walkthrough for week 10. So we had week 9 off to get caught up and make sure everything was done. And now we're starting fresh in quarter 2 with our first week and a new unit. So all work that is done in the past is done and we're moving forward. So please make sure that you know that and you're aware. And this quarter, I'm going to change how I do the late work. So for each week, I'm going to leave it up for 2 weeks. So week 10 will be open, and then week 11 will be open. And when I open week 12, I'll move week 10 into this folder here that says quarter 2 work that will go right here above this folder. And once it gets moved into the quarter 2 work, then you will no longer be able to complete those assignments. Those assignments will be moved off and you will have a 0 for any assignments not completed so that we can make sure that we don't get a bind at the end of the quarter. And so that is what we're going to be doing for that particular aspect of the class. We're going to continue to have weekly folders here, and you can see that week 1 of our second quarter is called bias in the media. And this whole unit is really just focused on how we understand bias and where bias comes from. So week 10, bias in the media. And this week basically is kind of an introduction to the idea of bias. And so that's what you're going to be doing this week. So you're watching the weekly walkthrough. We've got no red ink. This week's a pretest. So make sure that you're ready for that. So we've got no red ink again, and we're continuing to do those like we always have. We have this little Red Riding Hood activity where you're going to read and annotate the stories, and then there's a chart that you get to fill out. And then after that chart, you're going to go to the discussion board and answer a couple of questions. So that's our first activity. Then we have the video, which is just a short couple-minute video, and it explains this media bias chart. And that's I just want you to have a little background as to what the chart is and what we do with that. Then this is kind of some learning here, and this is navigating digital information with John Green. And basically, this one is about lateral reading, which is a strategy I'm going to be asking you to use. So when you watch this video, make sure you pay attention to why and how we do lateral reading. And then we are going to be using lateral reading on your article of the week this week. So that's down here. The how to evaluate information sources. This is a article that will help us with the idea of lateral reading. So it's what you're going to actually do as you lateral read. It's things to consider. So lateral reading will be discussed in this video. Some skills and some ways to look at it will be here with the quiz. And then you're going to complete this article of the week using lateral skills. So that is what we're going to be doing. And some of you have seen this chart before, not knowing what, because I accidentally stuck it on an assignment earlier. But if you go back in and you look at the idea of comparing sources, we are looking at two different sources on a topic. So you're going to have one article here and another article here, and you are going to summarize the articles, not copy and paste, but summarize what they say. And then you're going to tell us where it falls on that media bias chart. And then you're going to discuss like how does it fall in the slant that this bias chart says. Is it neutral? Is it mostly neutral? Does it lean to one side or the other? And what are your clues? So I want you to be specific. We haven't really gone into exactly what I want you to do in the bias section yet, but really what I want you to do is talk about, are there words that show it has an opinion? Is there a focus or a clear look at evidence? Is there the use of a piece of evidence in one way in one chart or in one article, and the same evidence but considered a different way in another article? And so I want you to be very specific here about what you're seeing. How do you know it's biased? Connections you can make, and then questions. And saying I don't have questions is not a question. So if you needed to look up and find more information, if you were going to research this topic, what would you research? What would you look more into? And so that's what I want you to put in this particular section. So the media bias chart has changed a little bit this week, but you're looking at two articles, and that is I'm going to let you kind of start on your own topics, and then as the quarter goes on, we're going to start narrowing in on a specific topic so that you have a good idea of maybe what you want to do for your capstone. So we'll talk about that later in the quarter. I hope you're doing well. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to talk to me about them. Talk to you soon.